Friday morning, I'm down below Little Rock, Arkansas, working my way to the house for a few days. Hopefully I'll be there later on this evening. But let's talk about the rich living on welfare. The rich living on welfare. If we go back to the Martin Luther King days, he talked about this. He talked about how they, at that time, the white people, hated black folks, poor folks, for taking government assistance. They despised that. Martin Luther King said in one of his speeches, they tell us to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps. They don't depend on the government. We shouldn't depend on the government. No. But they take the money. They take government assistance. They do. They have done it. They've been doing it. They always have been hypocrites. I'm talking about the white establishment, the Republicans, the bigots, the ones that hate everybody, the self-righteous ones of that time and up to date. They can't stand different races of people. Everything that they don't like is a sin against God, according to them. They whatever they do is right. Whatever anybody else do is wrong, according to them of that time, and still some of the day, known as bigots and racists. They don't want poor people to receive any type of government assistance, SNAP, welfare, or whatever. Look down on them. Nobody give me nothing. Everything I got, I had to earn it. I ain't going to the government for assistance. I just pull myself up by my own bootstraps. They live by that. That has been a model for centuries. But they hide and steal and take government assistance. They steal money. See what I'm saying? To try to hide their image, they'll steal it. That's why the government have so many type of loans and stuff, you can grants and stuff. They always have been abusing that. We see them doing it even today. The rich don't need it. The well-off supposed to be, they don't need it. They despise anybody who take it and get government assistance. But if you look deep enough into them, you'll find that they're taking money. They don't refuse grants. They don't call it, it's a different name when they take it, stuff like that. It's grants and, farmers been doing it for years. That's what Dr. Martin Luther King was talking about in one of his speeches, how farmers back then was living on the system. They would farm land knowing that it was prone to flooding or drought or whatnot. They would still farm their land knowing they're going to get government assistance if the crop don't produce. And the banks would fund it. The banks would continue, back in the day, the banks would continue to give them loans to farm, knowing that A lot of them that were farming, their land, them fields were prone to flood and drought. They weren't likely to produce. But year after year, they can continue to do that and then lean on the government for assistance. And in many ways, it works out better for them. But back then, only the white farmers, well, it was pretty much only white farmers who was the, but even when you come up to the 80s and stuff like that, early 90s, their history, even in the 2000s, of black farmers being uh, hated on, discriminated. That's what I'm looking for. Discrimination of the black farmers in this country. Producers selling them bad seeds. Banks don't hardly want to fund them with good crops and fields and stuff. Even though they have, banks don't want to get them loans. We have NFL players today, governors, and all that. The Democrat in the office, they don't want federal assistance from a Democrat president to go to the state, Mississippi, Alabama, all these southern states. They don't want that money, supposedly. They don't want any help from a Democrat. They were bad about that when Obama was in office. These southern states and stuff, governors, they didn't want the money. They didn't want the money from Obama to fix the roads, to improve. They didn't want the money. So they would make people starve, they would starve the state of federal assistance and funds, all because they didn't like who was in the office. Even now, the good old Republicans, they don't like who is in office, so they won't take state fund, the government, federal assistance money and all that stuff. But then them same politicians would go and steal money, cook up some stuff and steal the money. Put the money in their bank accounts. Now, when it comes to this type of stuff, Democrats and Republicans fall. I don't align myself with neither party, so to speak. But the Republicans started this stuff. Stealing from the government. They started all that. Them good old patriotic American Pledge of Allegiance, all them people that love the patriotic American, all them to the foot. Them the type that live on the government. They despise everybody else who need it. And they poor cause this their choice. They ain't got this cause it's their choice. You feed them, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, you teach him how to fish, then you feed him for, but them same ones who love to do all they quote and all, they ain't never good for giving anybody nothing. Ain't never ones who help anybody. Are not the ones who willing to even show a man how to fish. All they do is sit back and frown on people. Got a pocket full of money. If they get somebody $5, it's the end of the world. I give people money out of my pocket almost daily. Everywhere I go. I was in Fayetteville, Arkansas yesterday. The other day. over there behind the college. Man, I got depressed when I saw them people hanging out by the Salvation Army. I saw them folks. Everywhere I go, I got down in the Dallas area yesterday morning. People sleeping, living on the sidewalk, sleeping, living on the bridges, in the woods. Anywhere they can lay it. Children have to be out there. We claim we are Americans. We claim we patriotic. But why only go only so far? I wish I was a billionaire. I wish I could hit the lottery, become a billionaire. I don't know how I would give most of that money away trying to help the poor. If I hit the lottery for $1 billion, I would probably only keep probably about 50 million of that. Me being 46 now, I wouldn't need that much. I would give most of it away to not to any type of charities, because they have been known to steal. But I guess you have to do, but I would do the best I could to give it to the poor around the country. Y'all remember when I think it was Katrina or something happened years ago, and them people donated all that money to their charity, to them charity, and I think was it somebody that were running them charity stole all that money. I think it was after Katrina or something. Yeah, I think it was Katrina. The United States came together, and I'm sure people from other countries showed out for the people, gave the people. Somebody that run one of them charities stole all that money, and they got away with it. If I was a billionaire, I would take my money and buy some land and do whatever I could do to help poor people. You can holler you patriotic, we patriotic all we want to. Words are just words. Jesus said love is an action. Words are just patriotic, but we don't want to help nobody. Patriotic, but we frown on anybody that need help. And most of them, and most of them that frown on people are poor Americans themselves, barely making it, living from check to check. But they just all they know how to do is just spear hate. When I travel around this country, I see blacks, whites, all of them living under the bridge, all of them living on the sidewalk, all of them standing at the corner begging. As much money as this country give away, as much money as the politicians steal out of Washington, as much food as we let go to waste, much food and stuff that are being produced and just rot. Why can't we have a better system? Something that would help the poor. If we want to do the tithing thing like in the Bible, have all these companies, Fortune 500, 10% of their good product go to them, or set aside, not just cheap product, runoff product, stuff they don't want. Why can't we do a better job in taking care of the poor? But meanwhile, we let NFL players and governors and all them Steal all the money. They steal all the money.